this. So I've been doing this for 22 years. In 1995, we used to do something called ISPCs. Anybody know what that means? Basically a chew-out session with your boss, right? Why didn't you hit your numbers, Andrew? Well, let's see. Had to take my grandma to a haircut appointment. Had to get my dog a haircut. Had to restring my tennis racket. Excuse after excuse after excuse. My boss taught me 2 words: rational lies. You break up the word into 2 pieces, what does it mean? Rational lies. So I went back to the drawing board, made more calls, saw more people, had more appointments, worked more days. I was like a hamster on a wheel, not sustainable. My boss also taught me the word of insanity. What does insanity mean? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? Tom just mentioned that. That was a great idea to embrace change. I've been doing this for 22 years. The success that I've had has only come over the last 7 years. And today I'm going to share with you how that journey got to where it is today. In 2002, my son was born. And what it did is it told me I needed to change what I was doing with my business. I didn't have 6 days a week to be working. I couldn't be working 10 hours a day. So what did I do? I started speaking in front of groups. I got out of my comfort zone. Rather than speaking to one client at a time, I was speaking in front of groups. And you know why it worked? Because I married this with this. When you marry this with this, your passion and your conviction goes through the roof. So I did that for a few years. And soon, we had a program that was part of our company. And the people that were doing it, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Left the company, left the program. And I thought this was a great opportunity to get in front of companies and start speaking on a regular basis in front of a lot of people, leveraging my time. So I asked my boss, I said, hey boss, can I get in on this program? And it was kind of like my Rudy moment. He looked around and said, well, there's nobody else here, go for it. What do we have to lose? So I thought, you know what, this is a great opportunity. I need to make sure I do this right. So I did one of those on my own. And if you listen to my talk, the beginning of my talk says, I, me. I did a lot of those on my own. Didn't work. So I started looking for a teammate. I started working with some of the new reps that came in. You new reps that are here, pay attention. First few didn't work out. In comes Michael. You saw a picture of Michael. He's my Robin. He's my right-hand man. We started having success. Fresh out of college, didn't say 2 words probably for 2 years. It was perfect. Just listen to what I have to say and don't say a word. We started having success. My boss started to realize, what are you guys doing? We weren't sure. All we knew is that we teamed up, but we weren't quite getting the success that we wanted. Another team member was going through a divorce with her partner, Jennifer. You saw a picture of her there too. She had already been working with me as my ISTEC, investment specialist. So I had a good rapport with her. And I thought, well, let's bring her on board and see if she can help out with all these speaking engagements and these clients that were coming. So I approached her and I said, Jennifer, why don't you join our team and see if it works out? And you know what she told me? She said, Andrew, I just want to go back to doing what I was doing. And I said, Jennifer, I was insane once too. I said, give it 6 months. If you don't like it, if it doesn't resonate with you, you can always go back to doing what you're doing, right? Isn't that true? You don't try something new, how do you know if it's going to work? And if it doesn't work out, go back to doing what you were doing, right? So boom, we started to get more success. Bosses were taking notice, but we still weren't quite there. In walks in the DISC system. Anybody know what the DISC system is? You guys are lucky, it's part of your Sandler sales process. That was new to our company. But what the DISC system did, it analyzed who we were, and it basically showed what you're good at. Jennifer liked to be a speaker. Even though she was my portfolio analyst, she liked to speak. So we switched up how many engagements she would speak at and how many I would speak at. Michael was my driver. He basically handles all the logistics of our business. Who we're seeing, who we haven't seen, what business is coming through, who we need to contact, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I like to service. So I see the majority of our clients, and I do most of our reviews. Once we were able to identify what our strengths were, our business went to a different and a new level. This is where, if you haven't taken this assessment, do it. And check your ego out the door. Because we all think we're good at everything we do about this business. There's a lot of aspects to it, right? But you need to figure out what you're best at. And once you know what you're best at, team up with somebody that will complement your skills. Kind of like the Super Friends, right? Are the Super Friends, do they all have the same powers or different powers, right? They all have the same powers, they wouldn't be super, they'd just be friends. My millennials, any millennials out there? Do the Power Rangers or Transformers all have different skill sets? Right? Exactly. And pay attention. Michael's business is going like this. You ever seen a jet take off? It takes off really quickly. My career was more like the MetLife blimp. You ever seen that take off? So the DISC system, why does it work? Why is it so powerful? What do you think is the secret sauce? You give up? That's exactly what you have to do. You have to give up commission. You have to share business. I have people that come to us and they approach us and they think they want to work with us. And they go, well, why should I give up 40% when I can do all of this myself? Don't make me tear that harmonica out of your mouth. Okay? One-man band. And what's the old adage? 100% of nothing versus 20, 30, 40% of a lot more. And when you specialize at what you do, and the person next to you specializes at what you do, and the other person specializes at what they do, and you're all doing different things, you'd be surprised at the production that you create. I grew my AUM over the last 2.5 years by $70 million in the last 2.5 years. Could I have done that alone? No way. No way. So the DISC system is very, very, very powerful. It's part of creating a team. Anybody in here? MassMutual, right? Boston based. Anybody here New England Patriot fans? Yep. Yeah, me either. The point I'm making, what did they do this year? What did they do? They won the Super Bowl, right? So there's 2 points to this story. When Brady was basically not playing his first 4 games because he was suspended, what was the Patriots' record after he came aboard to the team? What was that? 3-1, right? How did they do that? They didn't have Tom Brady. How did they do that? Because they had a team. They had a process. And they plugged in a quarterback. And who were these quarterbacks? Anybody hear of them? No? Exactly. And that's exactly what forming a team does. Right as we speak, my team is speaking at a company. Michael's making sure applications are getting processed. My assistant is scheduling meetings and preparing for my Friday appointment when I get back. We're always working. How many hours a day do you all work? Any managers in here? Plug your ears. I work 4 hours a day. Okay? You call that lazy? I call it balance. Okay? I work 4 hours. Michael works 4 hours. Jennifer works 4 hours. My assistant works 4 hours. How many hours a day are we working? A lot. And we're all doing different things. Now here's a big differentiator. When you team, that doesn't mean that you sit side by side with somebody and you're both doing the same thing. That's not teaming. It's about differentiation. Okay? All right, let's talk about some actionable ideas. Kelly wanted me to give you guys some ideas to take back with you. Who here has an elevator talk? Nobody, because we're too busy putting these cards in the elevator trying to hit the button. Nobody's getting conversations going. It happened this morning. And then on the way down, because you don't need your card, everybody's on their phones. Right? No elevator talks. But you should have one. And here's mine. Because we get it all the time. We were riding over on Uber. Uber driver started talking to me. What do you do? I said, I'm a retirement planner. Or more of a retirement guide. I guide people to and through retirement. Anybody mountain climbers in here? Good, I'm not. When do most of the